joining us today for a webinar I know you will find interesting and also exciting. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and homebasedtravelagent.com, I welcome all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We are extremely excited to welcome our host today, Norwegian Cruise Line. Our speaker is Clark Reber, Director, Independent Professional Channel, also known as ITP, for Norwegian Cruise Line. Clark began in the industry filing brochures in his family's travel agency after high school, and now, with over 25 years of experience in sales and marketing at Norwegian, Clark's leading the charge to fully embrace the home-based agency community with meaningful initiatives and engagement opportunities, and we certainly appreciate that. Clark's topic today is what's new and exciting at Norwegian Cruise Line. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but if you have questions for Clark, you can type them in at any time in the question area you see on the right-hand side of your screen. At the end of Clark's presentation, we will get to as many questions as we can. Also, and this is really exciting, Clark will be giving away a free cruise. Yes, folks, a free cruise for two. We really appreciate his generosity along with his great knowledge, experience, and expertise, which you will hear soon during the webinar. We'll tell you a little more about the cruise giveaway at the end of the presentation, but here's a couple of hints. The winner has to have been here for the entire webinar, and you may want to take notes. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Clark now so he can get started. Welcome, Clark. We're so excited that you're here with us.
Well, thank you so much, Sandy, and it's a pleasure to be here today with the travel professional community, and a special thank you to Joni Ogg for giving us the opportunity to be with you today. But before we get started, I know Sandy gave a little brief introduction of me, but how about we do a quick survey so that I can learn a little bit about you? And we have a polling question, and I think Sandy's going to put that up.
Okay. Here we go. And Clark, you want to describe the poll?
Yes, we're just learning about who we have on the phone today. First of all, everyone, of course, is an independent travel professional who is home-based, and what I'm interested in knowing is who's affiliated with a host and who is not affiliated with a host, just how many, and if you don't belong to either of those groups, just check the other button. So let's let the poll stay open for a minute, and while people are answering their questions, we can get the results.
Okay, we do have answers pouring in. I'll wait another moment or two. I think under the other category, perhaps if you are not home-based or if you're in a brick and mortar, you might qualify for the other, in case you're confused about what that means.
Right, right.
Okay, so we're going to close the poll now. And here come the results. So we see home-based and affiliated with a host. About 58% of you said that that was your business model. Home-based and not affiliated with a host, 24% of you. And fitting into the other category are 18% of you. So there you go.
Great. Thanks so much for answering that quick question. And let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today. First of all, there are a lot of great things happening at Norwegian Cruise Line, and hopefully by the end of this call, you'll all be very excited to sell your next Norwegian cruise. Today we're going to talk about our new refurbishment program, Norwegian Edge, Harvest Key, selling Norwegian, some tips for selling Norwegian. I'm going to show you some tools to help you do that, and then also a glimpse at our sister companies, and then talk about next steps, and we'll wind up with hearing some of your questions and answering some of your questions, and then we'll close with the cruise giveaway. So let's get started. Many of you may know, and a shout out to Susan Pisani. I know you're on the call because you sent Sandy a text before we even got started. So hi, Susan, and anybody else that I may know who's on the call. But we are in the process, and we've already begun, a $400 million investment in our fleet, and we're calling it Norwegian Edge. You may know that we have some great new ships that are winning awards year after year for being the best new ships in the business. Norwegian Breakaway, Norwegian Getaway, Norwegian Escape. And what we're doing now is taking the best of those ships and flowing it out to the rest of the fleet. And we're spending $400 million to do it. So we're essentially gutting the ships that we're refurbishing. This is not just draperies and carpeting. We're gutting the ships and taking the most popular restaurants from our newest ships and adding them to the rest of the fleet. We're upgrading our island experience on Great Stirrup Cay, and we're also adding a new destination experience called Harvest Cay that I'll talk about a little later on today. And again, all the great food and beverage venues that are so popular are coming over to the rest of the fleet. You know, other cruise lines will just do their typical annual or you know, every 3-year dry dock on a ship and throw a logo on it and call it, you know, a big new change to their fleet. And I can't emphasize more that this is a $400 million investment. So let's take a look. For those of you who have sailed aboard Norwegian Epic, Epic is complete, and here are some of the changes that we're making to that ship. La Cucina, the Italian restaurant. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see before it had a much more rustic feel with a fake tree growing up in the middle of the room. If you see it there, it may be hard to see on a small screen. But we took that and changed it to this. So you can see that the colors are lighter. It has a much airier feel to it and an elevated ambiance in the room. So that's what the Epic looks like with La Cucina. The Garden Cafe on the left is what the Garden Cafe looked like before. Again, heavy on the color, a little more garish than we would want it to be. And on the right, look at it today. Again, lighter, much more elegant than the former Garden Cafe on board. Our live music venue, this is not real, well, there is a renovation involved here, but the theme of the room stays kind of the same, but it's really more of an entertainment change here than anything else. Before we had a blues club in Fat Cats, and we changed that to a room called the Cavern Club, which is themed after the Beatles. So we're quite excited about that and hearing great things from people who've been on board. And then there's the Haven and the Haven Lounge. If you look on the left, this is what the Haven Lounge looked like. It looks very, very 70s, right? I don't know what we were thinking when we built it, but these couches that are, you know, are not really practical. But then look at it now after the refurbishment. Again, softer tones, very, very elegant feel to it, and it should be because it's the Haven, right? And here's the photo gallery. So now notice all the manual notebooks where you find a number on your key card and then you find your picture and you decide whether or not you like it. But now we have face recognition technology built into our photo gallery on Epic. And again, we're taking all this fleet-wide. But again, look at the difference from, you know, an old look to a new elegant look. And again, that's the look that we're going to have across the fleet. So ultimately, when Edge is done, you're going to have the same Norwegian experience on any ship in the fleet. The Entourage Team Club, again, has been redone, completely refurbished. And we also refurbished Norwegian Gem. And as you look at this photo or these photos, again, there's a common theme here, right? Bliss Ultra Lounge. This room had beds in it, right? But look at it now, a much more elegant feel, a much more elevated feel in terms of the product delivery on board. Moderno Churrascaria and the Sugarcane Mojito Bar. Are you seeing a theme here? We're getting away from the garish colors and we're moving toward a much more romantic and elegant motif across the fleet. Oceans, for those of you who like fish and chips or a good English breakfast, this is our 24/7 restaurant that's been so popular on our newer ships, and we are flowing it across the rest of the fleet, and it'll look just like it looks on Norwegian Breakaway, Getaway, and Escape. And here I have to stop because we just completed a refurbishment of Pride of America, But before we go into the conversation about Pride of America, I just want you to look at this picture, because this is the last day of the cruise. Remember, on the last day we leave Na Willy Willy at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and an hour later we are sailing next to the cliffs of the Nepali coastline on the last day. It's such a dramatic end to an amazing 7-day experience, but I can't tell you how this photo even doesn't do it justice, because those mountains are so high, and the captain gets very, very close. But we just completed a renovation of Pride of America as well. And again, this is what the suites look like. So elevated decor across the ship, and here's the atrium. Actually, the title here doesn't really give it justice, because the atrium is behind where the photographer is. But again, you get an idea as to what we're doing with the decor on board. And then some more before and after photos. This is the Italian restaurant, La Cucina, again, very colorful and somewhat garish. But here, look how elegant it is today. The East meets West Asian restaurant, and then on the right, another much more elegant view of that room on Pride of America. And then, you know, the itinerary. And I don't know how many of you have sold Pride of America or have sailed Pride of America, but it is the only way to see Hawaii. We sail every Saturday year-round from Honolulu, 4 islands in 7 days, and almost 100 hours in port, with overnights in Maui and Kauai, and full-day stops in Hilo and Kona with Hawaiian ambassadors on board. And again, this is the only way to see Hawaii. The only other way to see 4 islands in 7 days is to fly. And I don't know about you, but the last time I went through airport security, it wasn't that pleasant of an experience. So here you pack your bags once, and it's a great opportunity for you to do 2 things. Number one, shift a land-based vacationer to their very first cruise. And number 2, to build a repeat customer for life, because this ship, and actually our entire fleet, of course, delivers an outstanding product, but Hawaii is just special. So you're going to earn higher commissions here, because it's a nice high-ticket item product to sell, and I can't talk enough about it. So let's now talk about Norwegian Edge. This is another element of our about Harvest Caye. This is another element of our Norwegian Edge $400 million investment, not only in the fleet and not only in food and dining, but also in destination experiences. Harvest Caye is about, for those of you who've been to Belize, Harvest Caye is about 60 miles south of Belize City. And right now, when we visit Belize, we tender into Belize City, whereas at Harvest Caye, we're going to be docking. And we're going to be offering our guests a very unique, not island experience, but destination experience, because it's going to be immersive in, you know, a lot of beach fun and activities, but also in the environment and lush wonder that is Belize. So here is Harvest Caye. Again, it's going to be a resort-style experience with lots of stuff to do. Unparalleled access to southern Belize. We're docking, as I mentioned earlier, and you can get off the ship immediately as soon as we arrive. So I want to show you a couple of things that might not stand out that clearly. Here is the ship docked in Belize, and again, it's a short walk over to Harvest Caye. And here is the flight house. Now, it may be hard to see, but if you look at this flight house and follow my arrow, there's a line that goes from here all the way down to here. The flight house is a zip line. So that gives you an idea of one of the great things that we're going to be offering in Harvest Caye. And here are some other things. This is the beach, absolutely pristine. 11 beachside villas are going to be available to rent with beverage and dining options close by. We're also taking our relationship with Margaritaville with us to Harvest Caye. There's a walking trail throughout Harvest Caye, and here are some images of those beach villas. They can accommodate up to 10 guests, equipped with everything. They're air conditioned. They have a dedicated lounge and dining areas, private restroom, indoor and outdoor showers, hammocks, and exclusive dining and beverage options with dedicated concierge service, so the people who take advantage of these beach villas will never have to leave the beach. What a day. And this is the pool we're putting in. A better view here of the zip line and the flight house. So again, you can see where the zip line is. And then here is the Land Shark Bar, which is our relationship with Margaritaville. So we're putting in a Land Shark Bar here by the pool in Harvest Key. And here's an elevated view of the entire pool area, just a different perspective from what I showed you before. And here's the flight house. Remember, we talked about it earlier. This is the zip line. This way, that way. You can zip line anywhere. The flight house itself is 130 feet tall, and it's the hub for all the zip lining, free fall jumps, aerials, and suspension bridges, and we're also putting a ropes course on Harvest Key. And this zip line will offer over 3,000 feet of zip line across the island. So it's really going to be a lot of fun and a great destination. Earlier, I mentioned that we'll also have a ropes course on board, or not on board, but at Harvest Key. A saltwater lagoon, which is shallow for kayaking, paddleboarding, electric boats, and canoeing. And remember, we are very, very sensitive to the environment in Belize. So you're not going to find jet skis, you're not going to find wave runners, you're not going to find motorized anything because we don't want to run over the manatees. And more unique experiences, this is just the large marina, and this is where we'll depart for shore excursions for both sea and on land. And that'll be the gathering point. And lots of shore excursions. Mayan Temple, lagoon wildlife and mangrove estuaries, rainforest river tubing, which sounds like a lot of fun, jungle river rafting, and ocean snorkeling as well. And here's another image of the Land Shark Bar and Grill that I mentioned earlier. Again, it's because of our exclusive partnership with Jimmy Buffett and Margaritaville. And we'll have some unique drinks here in the Land Shark Bar as well. Shopping Village will also be featured on Harvest Key. And again, we're giving an authentic Belizean experience with educational programs on the flora and fauna, no propeller operated boats at all, no jet ski rentals, and we're planting 10,000 new mangroves throughout the island because it's a critical habitat for birds, young fish, and other marine species. In terms of conservation, we're going to have an aviary, a butterfly garden, and boa constrictor viewing and education center. So I don't know if I'll be doing the boa constrictor viewing, but I think the aviary is more along my area of interest. So that is Harvest Key, and that's Norwegian Edge. And, you know, it's amazing to see how far 400 million can take you, because we're doing a lot of great things with our fleet renovation. So selling Norwegian Cruise Line, I know that, you know, 58% of you are affiliated, 24% of you are not affiliated, and the other 18% of you have other ways to sell Norwegian than home base. But in talking about, you know, what sets us apart, first of all, of course, it's freestyle cruising, because your customers can dine where, when, and with whom they please in up to 28 dining venues across the ship. Best entertainment at sea. I don't know when the last time it was that you sailed, but our entertainment is bar none the best in the business, with Tony Award-winning shows on board. A unique Hawaii experience that we already talked about, a rich stateroom experience that goes from solo staterooms to inside staterooms all the way up to a 5,000 square foot garden villa that sleeps 6 in the Haven. We have the youngest fleet in North America with 14 ships, the best onboard product for multi-generational family and families and non-cruisers. And again, think of Norwegian as a stepping stone for first-time cruisers, because we really do offer the variety of a big city on board a ship. And it's a great way to give a first-time cruiser their first experience, because it's more like what they would experience on land, just because of the broad variety of choice that we offer on board. Best dining in the premium space. For those of you who know us, we have two sister companies. Those sister companies are Oceania and Regent. Both are highly regarded for food, and Regent is highly regarded as the most all-inclusive cruise product out there, and also the most luxurious at sea. The same people who are running the hotel, the food, the beverage, and the beverages for Oceania and Regent are now running those areas for Norwegian. So think of what that's done to our menus on board. Think of what it's done overall to our onboard offerings, and think of what it's done in terms of what we do in the luxury realm. Of course, Norwegian has global reach. This is not all three brands combined. This is just Norwegian. Just this last year, we opened up Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. So again, when I say that we have something at Norwegian for every client in your portfolio, we certainly do. Be they luxury clients, young romantics, empty nesters, relaxation seekers, people who want an all-inclusive product. I'll talk about that later as well with our Free at Sea promotion. Solo travelers, so when one of your clients wants to sail by themselves, they don't have to pay a single supplement, because we have staterooms just for the solo travelers. Active adults, cultural aficionados, families and groups, and foodies. And then there is the Haven. The Haven is at the top of the ship. It is a key card access only area, which includes concierge and butler service. And this is what makes us ideal for multi-generational families. So I'm going to talk a lot about the Haven here on this slide, because it's first of all, years ago when I sailed aboard Norwegian Pearl, I was sailing as an employee, and I was invited to the VIP reception in the Haven courtyard on that ship. And at the party, I met this couple from California, and they were on board with their kids. And I was talking to the young lady, and she said, Clark, we usually sail with Crystal. When we sail as a couple, we always sail at Crystal. But when we sail with Norwegian, we always bring the kids, because Norwegian gets it. Okay, so you can put mom and dad, grandma and grandpa upstairs in the Haven, and the kids downstairs outside the Haven in an inside or an outside. But in any case, this makes the experience ideal for multi-generational families in a way that luxury cruise lines cannot. We have the luxury, but we also have the big city down below with these fantastic kids and teens programs for them to take advantage of. So if you sail in the Haven, you have a concierge and you have a butler. But what does that mean? When you go through security at check-in, you're going to go past security, and if you're a customer, you're going to be whisked over to a private check-in area. There you're going to meet one of the butlers or concierge staff from the ship, and they're going to take you past all the lines right up to the Haven, where you can enjoy lunch in the Haven restaurant and go right to your room. That's just where it starts. You get priority seating at dinner in all the a la carte restaurants. You get priority seating at the shows. If you want to be the first one off the ship, you just ask the concierge, and guess what? You're the first one off the ship. If you have an early flight when you get back to Miami and you want to be the first one off the ship, guess what? You're going to be the first one off the ship. The concierge can work miracles. If you want the best seats at the show up at the concierge desk 45 minutes prior. They will take you through the back entrance to the theater, and you can go in and pick out your own seats, just like season ticket holders at a baseball game. then the doors open, and then all the rest of the guests come in. So our Haven experience is truly luxurious, but that's just the beginning. Every stateroom has a handy phone. So you can take your handy phone anywhere you are on the ship and call your butler or concierge at any time. So anytime you need anything, you just pick up your handy phone and give a call. And I have to tell a story, because once I actually sailed in the Haven, and you know, the room service menu up there is upgraded. So you can order the night before your big breakfast for the next morning, and even throw a request for a couple of Bloody Marys into your breakfast order. So the next morning, the doorbell rings, and the butler is standing outside with a white tablecloth. The butler comes in, makes your table, puts down your cutlery and your napkins, puts down your fresh flowers, serves your Bloody Marys and your omelets or whatever you ordered the night before, all while you're sitting there in the coziest bathrobe you've ever had. I just can't tell you the extraordinary value that this area of the ship offers. That said, of course, others are copying us, but they're doing it a little bit differently. We don't segregate guests within the Haven category. So, for example, when you buy a luxury area on some other cruise lines, if you buy a certain category, you get the concierge. If you buy another category, you don't. If you buy a certain category, you get the butler. If you buy another category, you don't. It's not that way with us. Everybody in the Haven gets the private restaurant, the private lounge, the private courtyard, the concierge, and the butler, and all the services that go along with it. So all categories within the Haven at Norwegian receive the same level of service and the same level of amenities. And with our Free at Sea promotion, that includes dining, beverages, Wi-Fi, and shore excursion credit, it's all included. So it's an extraordinary value. Also, all-inclusive, and agents have always told us, you know, we don't sell 3- and 4-day cruises because we don't like making $33 commissions. Well, guess what? You're going to make a lot more on a short cruise with Norwegian Cruise Line because our prices are higher, and our prices are higher because our short cruise product to and from the Bahamas out of Miami is all-inclusive, drinks and food for the weekend or for the 4-day cruise. So Norwegian Sky, our 3- and 4-day cruise out of Miami, is an exceptional value and the best place to make more money on a short cruise sail in the business. So, you know, this is our 50th anniversary at Norwegian. We're going to be celebrating it in December. And we've been in the business. We know it well. We've revolutionized so many things over those 50 years. But one thing that we did for probably 48 of those 50 years is to always focus on price. You know, why would we ever sell a 7-day cruise for $399? Well, when we acquired Prestige Cruise Holdings, that whole thinking shifted. And we shifted away from price to marketing. So guess what's happened? Our prices have gone up. Your commissions have gone up along with the prices, and we're giving you an opportunity to sell value over price. What would happen if you were having coffee at the Starbucks and somebody that you just gave a business card to asked you, hey, can you get me a good deal on a cruise? And you said, no, I don't, that's not the business I'm in. I don't find good deals on cruises. You can go online and find your $399 cruise anywhere you like. Because you know what? Those clients who are shopping just for price, if they ask you for a $399 cruise one year, they're going to ask you for a $389 cruise the next. But what you do say when that customer says, hey, can you find me a good cruise deal, is no. But what I can do is tell you how to best manage your cruise vacation investment, because that's the business you're in. You are as much teacher as you are travel agent. Remember that, Because once you get into the conversation about $399, you are lost. It's never going to shift. You have to talk about your story. You have to talk about what value you bring to the table. And this next slide shows you how. We are helping you sell value over price. Look at this offer. Our Free at Sea program lets your clients choose 2 free offers. If you buy the Haven, you get everything included. And up to $100 to spend on board, and friends and family are free. This offer is going now through April 30th, and in Hawaii, it's a little different. Free at Sea, you can choose up to 4 free offers with 1 night free hotel, specialty dining, prepaid gratuities and shore excursions, and then friends and family sail free on select dates. This will be shifting on May 1st, okay? So we're going to have a new offer out there. Everyone asks us why the offer is different in Hawaii, and the reason it is because we can't give away liquor in Hawaii. It's a state law. So we've always got to have a different offer that does not include a beverage package when we're sailing in Hawaii. So it's a great offer, and I've told you all about our product, but now I want to show you a tool that is really going to make your life easier if you're not using it already. If there's one thing you remember today, remember the words Norwegian Central, okay? When you leave this webinar, you need to go to norwegiancentral.com and build your customized free promotion to send out to your customers. So you know what? We're going to build one right now. Let's leave the webinar and go over to norwegiancentral.com. Okay, so here we are, hopefully, and hopefully I haven't lost all of you by doing that. But this is Norwegian Central. We're going to sign in. And it's going to take us to a big screen. This big screen is everything Norwegian. Here you've got our booking engine, you've got pricing and promotions, everything you'd ever want to know is here. And also NCL University, this is where you learn everything about Norwegian. But let's go to marketing headquarters because this is where you build your promotions, okay? So remember I just showed you Free at Sea, right? Just extended to April 30th. Here's the Hawaii offer. So let's build a promotion. Let's click Free at Sea and see what happens. When you register at Norwegian Central, you give us all sorts of information. This little page here populates with all of that information, and you can change it however you like. So we're building a bunch of different pieces of collateral. This is where you would put your company logo, but I just stuck my picture in here so you can take a look. Let's continue on through and push this button, boom. In 3 clicks, we just created 13 different promotional tools for you to use. Here, an email that's customized for you. Here, a flyer. Here, an advertisement in color. Here, a different sized advertisement in color. Again, customized to you. Black and white ads, a Facebook post, banner ads for your website, all sorts of different banner ads for your website, and then all the terms and conditions for the offer that you picked. So you can choose any of these tools or all of them, but boy, you know what I would do? I would take that email and shoot it out to my entire client base like right now. So that is Norwegian Central. So let's go back to our presentation. And I want to show you a little bit more that you can find there. I have some slides in here, but I chose to take you offline just because it's a little more compelling to see the thing actually work on its own. So here are my boring slides. But there's also an area on Norwegian Central that takes you to look at a grid where we keep every ship and sailing date and every price, lead price for every ship and sailing that's in our portfolio right now. So here is an example of Norwegian Escape. All the sailings are here, departure date, itinerary, and then you can see if you're planning a group, if it's green, this is where you want to put your group because we're going to be offering more amenities on that date. If it's blue, it's not quite so readily available. the sales pal is like another best kept secret, and it's all at Norwegian Central. So as I come to a close here, I wanted to talk a little bit about the different areas or the different segments within the cruise industry. There's the contemporary realm, which we sit in, and the vessels in North America comprise about 75% of the contemporary market. Then there's the premium market, which is Oceania, and the luxury market, which is Regent. And as you begin selling Norwegian, guess what? Your clients are going to evolve as they age, from Norwegian to Oceania and ultimately to Regent. So just know that not only am I talking about just getting your customers to enjoy a Norwegian Cruise Line cruise, but I'm talking about getting a customer for life and taking them across the whole evolution of their cruise taste from beginning to end. So let's look at some next steps. I know I've been talking at you for a while, and hopefully you've been typing in a bunch of questions for Sandy to ask me in the next few minutes. But there are some things I want you to remember and take away from our conversation today. First and foremost, when you're talking about Norwegian, talk about the free at sea offer, because it gives you the opportunity to have a conversation with your clients about something other than price. Okay, I can give you all of this. It's going to cost a little bit more, but consider it, because when it's all said and done, you'll be saving in the long run, right? Don't ever forget that value proposition that we bring to the table. Go to Norwegian Central, book register if you're not registered already, build your own promotion, and push it out the door today. Contact your sales representative. If you don't have an ongoing relationship with your Norwegian Cruise Line sales representative, you're missing the opportunity of a lifetime. If you don't know who that is, send an email to sales@ncl.com, and we will put you in touch with that person. Our sales team is the best in the business. We're all very, very proud of them, and they work their tails off for you, right? They are going to help you build a business plan. They'll help you plan your first group, or they'll help you manage through anything that you need at Norwegian Cruise Line. Join our webinar next week on April 27th. We're going to be, I think it's the 27th. Yes, the 27th. Andy Stewart, our president and COO, will be hosting a webinar, which is going to have a lot of great information. Andy's very popular. He's our local, rock star. And you can register by going to facebook.com/partnersfirst. The webinar post is there. Just click on, just click on it and register for the webinar today. And then update your knowledge at NCLU. To get to NCLU again, you need to go to Norwegian Central. And of course, sell, sell, sell. So if those are 6 things that I'm asking you to do today, besides just giving us a valued hour of your time. So Sandy, shall we answer some questions here?
Okay, thanks, Clark. That was amazing. The ships look just absolutely fantastic. As you can imagine, we do have many questions that came in, so I just want to tell our agents ahead of time that if we don't get to your question, or if you think of something that you want to ask after the webinar is over, Clark, what's a good place for them to call or to email?
Just always send an email to sales@ncl.com. If it's relating to a specific reservation or a technical question about reservations, you can send an email directly to our VP of Passenger Services, Vivian Ewert, and that email is askvivian@ncl.com.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. We have had a lot of questions about Harvest Key, and mostly relating to if you have a drink package on board the ship, does that extend to Harvest Key? Is Harvest Key appropriate for older clients or perhaps mobility challenged clients? Those kinds of things.
In terms of the drink package, Harvest Key operates entirely separate from the ship. And if you have a drink package, it will only be applicable on board. So again, the vendors on Harvest Key are all local. We assisted greatly with the development of the property, but it is, local. And we also brought mobility knowledge from North America with us to Belize. So Harvest Key will be fully mobile optimized and a perfect destination for older guests as well. There's a lot of shade. They can, a great place to go to the Land Shark Bar, sit back, have lunch, enjoy a beer, and then go back to the ship, but all the while watching, everybody in the marina or at the pool.
Okay, excellent. Do you have an idea of how much the zip line will cost, and is it open to children? Is there a height or weight limit?
There will be a height and weight limit, but we haven't announced that yet, nor have we announced any of the pricing for the activities on Harvest Key. But the way to find out about it is to join our monthly webinars with Andy, because that's where we announce everything first.
Okay, excellent. We have a question about the Pride of America. What do the Hawaiian ambassadors do during that cruise?
You asked that question, and I got cold chills. They're there to show you how to make a lei, and they're there also to talk about how, as you sail past the Nepali coastline, aloha came to the islands. And as you sail the Nepali coastline, they chant in old, ancient Hawaiian chants. And they bring alive the history of the island. So, when you're in Hawaii, ashore, you always know you're in Hawaii, and the Hawaiian ambassadors bring the spirit of aloha aboard the ships.
Fantastic. Sounds great. Getting back to Harvest Caye and Margaritaville, are there any provisions for groups that are on the ship, any special group activities or anything specialized for groups?
We do group activities currently on Great Stirrup Key, and I'm sure we will be doing similar things on Harvest Key. So stay tuned there. Again, we won't be going to Harvest Key until November of this year, so it's a bit out, a bit far in advance. But all of our Western Caribbean itineraries from December on will stop and dock at Harvest Key.
Okay, excellent. Do all the ships have a haven area, and are the ships going to be getting the solo staterooms that don't have them now?
We will not be adding any of the solo staterooms as part of Norwegian Edge to ships that don't have them now. The ships that have the haven are Jewel class and newer. For those ships that don't have the haven, for example, Norwegian Star and Dawn have suites, and they have garden villas, but what we do is convert Cagney's restaurant into the Haven restaurant for breakfast and lunch, and we adapt the ship as best we can without having, the Haven on board. But all the Jewel class ships and beyond have the Haven. Norwegian Sky and Norwegian Sun do not.
Okay. You mentioned that the state of Hawaii doesn't allow alcohol sales. One of our agents wants to know, for the Pride of America, can you bring your own alcohol aboard? And
no,
in fact,
if I said they didn't allow alcohol sales, I was mistaken. You can't give away alcohol. Okay, so that's why we don't include it in the package. So we can't do free alcohol on the ships, which is why we can't promote a beverage package in Hawaii. And no, you cannot bring your own alcohol on board because we have fully stocked bars and lounges on Pride of America.
Is that true of all ships? Do you allow alcohol being brought on board any of NCL's ships?
We do not.
Okay. One of our agents wants to know the general demographic of a typical NCL passenger. What kind of demographic do you best cater to?
52 years old, and it's gradually dropping. and roughly 115,000 household income annually.
Okay. And one of our agents wants to know, speaking of demographics, does NCL ever have plans to sell an adults-only cruise? Kick those kids out of there.
Well, we have adult areas on board. The Vibe Beach Club is private and can be purchased. It's like a Haven-esque kind of pool. It's not a pool area, but a private lounge area. And then in the back of the ship, on our newer vessels, there's an area called Spice H2O, which is adults only. If you wanted an adults-only cruise, I'm afraid you'd have to go on a charter.
Okay. Thank you. One of our agents wants to know if they can use images from the image libraries on their websites, or are there any restrictions to using those?
No restrictions whatsoever. We'd be happy for you to use any image on the image library that's on Norwegian Central.
Okay, excellent. We have a lot of questions. Let's see. If you have a latitudes number, which is a past passenger number, do those cross over to either Oceania or Regent?
Never say never, but they do not currently.
Okay, and tell us something about NCL's group policy. How many cabins make up a group? Are these contracts with a deposit or no deposit? How does that work exactly?
I am so glad you asked, because I knew I left something out of this presentation.
There you go.
we have the best affinity group program in the business. It's 1 for 7 staterooms. So if you have a family reunion, if you have a wedding, if you have an affinity group, a true affinity group, the tour conductor offering is the best in the business. The deposit requirement is also exceptional. I don't recall it off the top of my head. I have a slide with that on it. I'm so sorry. But I can follow up with that answer to whoever asked the question after the call.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. Everyone is saying Harvest Caye looks fantastic, gorgeous. The ships look beautiful. Do you have an all-inclusive package that includes airfare to the Med?
You know, we do have an air package that we just launched for Europe for the Med this year. It includes air from select gateways as well as a one-night hotel pre. Go to marketing headquarters behind Norwegian Central, and all of our promotions are sitting there.
Okay, excellent. Let's take a couple of more questions. Again, we have many, many more questions than we can answer today. So we'll ask Clark before the end of this webinar to again tell us or put up a slide with who to contact with the rest of your questions. So you said that Harvest Caye is a private enterprise. Does that mean that can people pay for whatever they buy with their key card as they do on the ship?
That is a good question, and I'm assuming yes, but that's an assumption.
Okay, so we'll find out.
I believe so. Yeah, I can follow up with that one afterwards as well.
Okay, and let's see. Let's go for one more question. One of our agents wants to know, how do amenity dollars work since you've gotten away from amenity points?
Well, they're the same as amenity points, but we just monetized it as opposed to using points. So there's, again, back on Norwegian Central, you're going to find the groups area. Within that groups area, actually there's a pricing and promotions area. The Sales Pal lists the amenity dollars that are required for any sailing, so that's another big help there. If you go to the Sales Pal, you can find the amenities for every sailing that we currently have published. That, in concert with the amenity menu, will give you a good list of choices from which to choose for your group.
Okay, fantastic. Well, this has been a wonderful webinar. Lots of great pictures. We have been getting wonderful questions and lots of compliments, Clark, for you and for the presentation. But I think it's time to get to the prize giveaway. So can you tell our agents what it is that you're giving away before I explain how it's going to work?
Yes. So I went to our revenue team and I said, hey, our friend Joni Ogg wants to do a webinar. Wouldn't it be great if we could, and it's for home-based travel partners, wouldn't it be great if we could give away a cruise as part of the webinar? And with a little bit of prodding, they agreed, but they put some caveats on it. Okay, so here are the specifics. First of all, it has to be aboard Norwegian Getaway or Norwegian Escape. The cruise has to sail this year. It will be in a balcony stateroom, and it's for 2 people. If you want to bring a third or fourth person, you would have to pay the additional standard third or fourth person rate, whoever may win the cruise. And then also, if you win it, you can't resell it, and you can't give it to a friend. Okay, so this is between us. It's just from us to you, but you can't re-gift it. So Norwegian Getaway is year-round Western Caribbean from Miami on Sunday, and Norwegian Escape is year-round, currently year-round Eastern Caribbean from Miami as well. So both are fantastic ships, and you know, both are sure to deliver an outstanding experience, not only to you, but also to your clients. So should we ask the question, Sandy?
Okay, so here is how it's going to work. Clark is going to ask a question, and the first correct answer I see come across my screen will be the winner, and I will announce when the winner has appeared, and then we'll announce the name. And if you are the winner, we will be giving your information to Clark, and he will get in touch with you regarding the prize. Okay, Clark, this is a fantastically generous prize. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, what is the name of NCL's online portal where you can use a single sign-on to gain access to marketing headquarters, NCLU, and the online booking engine?
Okay, we have many answers, some of which came in before you asked the question, which is interesting.
Really?
Okay, well, the first correct answer I saw on my screen was from Tom Munholland, and we're going to check that out. We're going to check and make sure, Tom, that you've been here for the whole time and that your answer actually came in after the question was asked. So Tom Munholland, congratulations. You are the winner of the free cruise, and Clark will be getting in touch with you to make the arrangements. And we also have the next couple of correct answers that I saw. So if there's some problem with Tom's entry, we'll get to the next person or two. So first of all, I want to thank you so much, Clark Reber, for this wonderful, wonderful presentation. Clark is Director, Independent Travel Professional Channel for Norwegian Cruise Line. Clark, this is fantastic. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. I put a slide up with all the resource information again. If you want to join our webinar next Thursday, just go to facebook.com/partnersfirst. If you have a question relating to sales or who your salesperson is, send it to sales@ncl.com. If you have a technical question, send it to askvivian@ncl.com, and make sure to build your promotion. Now, you're on your computer right now. Go to norwegiancentral.com, go to marketing headquarters, and build a promotion. Thank you all very much for taking time out of your busy days.
Thank you so much, everybody, especially you, Clark, but thank you to all of our agents for being here. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next time. Take care. Have a good day. Bye, everybody.